Today, we're talking about a fundamental almost no one understands, lane psychology. This is the biggest secret weapon of pro players. They don't just trade better, they are masters at controlling how you move. So if you truly want to dominate lane, you need to understand human psychology. But it's not about becoming a psychologist, this isn't something you learn in school. Lane psychology is about using your movement to make your opponent act exactly how you want. And if you can do that actively, you win. I've helped hundreds of players climb, and this one concept has been the biggest cheat code for lane domination. It's the foundation for every opportunity you create in lane. And I'm just gonna give it to you. So, in this video, I'll break down 6 psychology tricks to dominate your lane opponent, without them even knowing it. So if you want to learn how to manipulate the enemy lane opponent, you have to understand how the brain works in lane. In lane, there's a million different things going on at the same time, and you can only actively focus on a few specific things. So what's most of the time going to be on autopilot is spacing. And we can use that to our advantage because you want to view spacing in lane like there's an invisible string between you and the enemy laner. You get too close, you get in their range, you get out-attacked, or they get out-attacked, you get hit. You get too far away, that's also not good because then you can give them the opportunity to freely walk up forward and you get into this really awkward position where you get kind of pushed away from minions or pushed away from the lane. So whenever you're spacing and whenever you're doing this movement battle in the lane, there's always this invisible string attached to the enemy opponent. I'm going to show it right here. What you'll find is that Akshan walks forward, I walk backward. He walks a little bit backward. I'm going to try to walk a little bit forward. I'm going to try to get a little bit closer here. I'm going to try to hit him. I used my cooldown. He now has the ability to walk up. I click backwards. You see that this is automatic process. I walk forward, he slightly walks backward. He walks forward, I slightly walk backward. What you can do is you can manipulate this and give the enemy laner fake information. What do I mean with this? If you click backwards, sometimes this is going to signal to their brain because they're not actively registering that you're clicking backwards. Hey, I can move forward. And if you do that at specific times, you can create opportunities where you can blast them in trades. Let me show you how I do this. So I've been dancing with this Akshan the entire lane. Forward, backward. He clicks forward, I go backward. Now, he just used his Q and it's now my turn to trade onto this minion. So what he needs to do, he needs to give this minion. He can't contest it because I've got both of my cooldowns up. But what I want is I want to get a stack. I'm getting my first right up. I want to trade right now. This is my perfect moment. So I need to give him the information. Hey, it's fine. You can take this minion, no problem. All yours, brother. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a defensive movement, which is going to signal to his brain. This is completely subconscious. I can go for the minion. So what I do here, first things first, I go aggressive. I do aggressive movement, which is going to signal, hey, be careful on this minion. But I've already created the space for myself that I can now click back and incentivize him to click forward. So what I do is I click back and you see that the moment I click forward initially, he was clicking back. And now his brain is registering, oh, he actually clicked back. So he's going to click forward. Trading window. So if we now know how the brain works, we can utilize this in many different situations. So in this lane, I'm trading into Orianna. It's a very aggressive trading matchup, of course. I'm standing my ground. We're both fighting for the death here in this control mage versus control mate matchup. And what we usually do in these matchups is that you kind of tether each other's range to bait out each other's spells, creating opportunities to trade, of course, because if someone has no spells, as a mage, you're basically screwed. Now, I recognize that I'm going to get a gank right here from my Yana. So instead of now tethering her at her ranges, I'm going to completely change the way I approach this. What I initially do is I stand all the way back here and I give her the ID that she's able to walk up. Little does she know, she's getting ganked from bot side. So I stand all the way back here, incentivizing her to push the wave, incentivizing her to walk up for these minions because I'm not contesting her. And this is going to buy time and space for this Yana to walk up and get a Q or like a gank going. There's some more tricks that I use. I walk up like this and then I walk back. A lot of people would just run straight at Orianna, getting ganked by Yana right here. The gank would fail because Orianna would sniff out the gank. But what I'm doing is I'm mimicking my movements. I'm doing these back clicks, signaling I'm scared, signaling I'm not sure what's going on. And this signals to her brain, hey, it's fine. I can get this minion right here. While in the reality, what's going to happen is that she's going to get queued by Yana onto that minion. I even ping on the way. See all these back clicks, allowing her to walk up. Perfect. Change the C up on the Yana Q. and we get this fantastical, beautiful psychological warfare here. One of the best ways to dominate lane and destroy your lane opponent is by using psychology to bait out their spells. I'm going to showcase what that exactly look like and how I do that on a consistent basis. And this is so insane, guys, because this creates so many opportunities. Create opportunities to trade, opportunities to get wave control, opportunities to get minion advantages, resource advantages, absolutely crazy. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to play Aurora into Syndra. And for you to do this consistently, you need to fully understand what the enemy champion wants to do at certain specific moments. And you're playing a mind game with the enemy laner. So what does that exactly look like? In this case, when playing Aurora into Syndra, Syndra has the longer range, and Aurora wants to get closer in range to be able to land her Q. So it's Syndra's job to tether and keep Aurora outside of her range. And it's her job to then keep the distance, and if I ever get too close, she's gonna look to try to use her spells to prevent me from getting this close. So one thing I do is I clear the wave, and I wanna walk this wave in. So I know that she's gonna try to hit me, so I am totally focused on her character, and I'm totally focused on her Q ability, knowing she is going to throw it out. I just know that she's going to throw it out because I play Syndra and I would do the exact same thing. Great, now she has no Q, allowing me to walk up right here and get a nice little E. That's one way of baiting her spells. Now, what does Aurora want to do, guys? Aurora wants to proc Electrocute, right? And proccing Electrocute is going to give us a passive. It's going to give us insane trading power. So now Syndra is thinking, okay, I've got now a Q on my face. She is going to E me. That is exactly what I would want to do. I would E her and I would chunk out her HP bar. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to act like I'm going to E her, but I know her counter move is that she's going to QE me to keep me away. So my response to this situation is clicking forward, acting as if I'm going to E, but I'm actually baiting out her spells, and therefore I'm able to deny all of these minions. So let's go back here, right? I click forward, I hit the Q, I click forward, dodge out her QE, because my aggressive positioning is basically signaling to her mind she is going to go forward and E me, but now she's used all of her spells after I baited it out, and now she can't walk up because I still got my E, and now I can use this threat of the E to bait her away and force her to deny both of these minions. Because of that subtle front step. This subtle front step incentivized her brain to throw out that QE, and it got me massive positions in the lane here. And I need this because she's on Lost Chapter and I'm on Amptome. If I don't do this, I get destroyed in the lane and I lose all my access to the minions. Another way to hack the opponent's brain and incentivize them to make mistakes is by creating rhythms or patterns and then breaking them. So in this case, I'm going to be playing Ahri versus Orianna, a pretty tricky lane. And I really want you guys to look at my movement, okay? So what I do is I click forward, backward, out attack, backward, out attack, backward, forward, out attack, backward, forward, out attack. 4 times in a row, 5 times in a row. So what she's going to expect right now is that I'm going to do the exact same thing again while the minion is dying right here. And rightfully so. So I do the exact same thing. I have the exact same pattern. And then I break it. Instead of going for the out attack, I do a back click. And I dodge your spell and I get the minions for free. So let's show it again, okay? Out attack, backwards, forwards click. Out, backwards, forwards click. Backwards, forwards click. Out attack, backwards, forwards click. You see, I'm creating this pattern. And after that forwards click from me, she was like, hey, she's going to do the exact same thing. Another forwards click into an out attack onto the minion, CSing the creep. But I know that she's thinking that. So I'm breaking my pattern and I'm clicking backwards, denying her Q, getting the minions for free. Amazing showcase of what patterns can do and how the subconscious can be influenced by breaking those. And therefore you can create really favorable lane situations. The next psychology hack is a really simple but super effective one, so I had to include it. It's what I like to call a fake roam. And most assassins and strong trading champions are able to utilize this one really well because it can put the enemies in positions where they basically shoot themselves in their foot. Now what does this look like? In this case, I'm playing Mysterias. I get a nice little wave push out and I'm gonna hide into the fog of war. I nicely place myself a ward and I just sit right here. Why do I sit here? Well, she has no information on me. She doesn't know what I'm doing. In her mind, she is like, oh, damn, I lost priority. My bot lane was overextended initially, right? I have no vision. LeBlanc's going to roam bot and they're going to punish my bot lane. That's what's going through her mind. So what I need to do is hard push the wave. I need to crash the wave. And what I do is I sit in the bush. I wait for her to basically mess herself up. she actually starts hitting the wave. Good luck. Now your wave is slowly pushing towards me while I'm in a position of stronger trading. So good luck crashing this wave. Good luck accessing these minions right now. And when I can step up this far, and you can see that she just gets zoned off the minions, and she's in a position where she now loses so many resources because she intentionally hit that wave. And because I'm a stronger trader, I can actually push her away, denying her all of these creeps. So for the final trick, we're gonna revisit the previous trick, but we're gonna approach it in a different way. So everyone's heard you need to trade on the enemy last hits. And that's true, you definitely need to trade on the enemy last hits, but you're also working with cooldowns. So sometimes it's good not to trade on the enemy last hits and rather just play the mind game with the enemies. Are we actually going to use our spells or not? And that's exactly what I do here in this Talia. What I do is I expand my trading windows. So instead of just full sending it on the first one, I think about, hey, if I just not use my spells, I can also contest her on the next one, and I can potentially push her away. And this is, if you talk about mind games, right? This is the mind games that Chovy, Faker, at the highest level of League of Legends are always talking about. Mind games, which means are being contested, which means are not being contested, because you want to use your spells in such a way that they land and that you can get the most amount of resource value out of it. So in this position, I know that Talia needs to last hit this minion. And one thing I'm going to do is I'm going to act as if I'm going to trade onto her. I'm not going to. I'm just stepping up forward to make sure that she is scared and she is basically now pushed back because she's scared and therefore she can't contest the minion. I even get a cooldown out of here. That's perfect situation. I'm going to do it again on the next minion. I could, right? She's standing still. She's looking to get the minion, right? I could potentially trade onto her, but I'm not going to because now I can do it on the next one as well. LeBlanc has really long cooldowns. Most champions have long cooldowns. So I want to get the most amount of value from it. And in this case, I'm denying her as many minions as possible. You see how I'm stepping up here? Once again, with my stepping up, I not only do like a combination of aggressive baiting and baiting out her spells, I also step up at the minion. And for this minion, I finally go for it because I'm like, okay, maybe I can get a nice little angle. I push her away, I denied her another minion. Now I do the exact same thing. I'm pushing her away from all of these creeps, allowing me a position where I can get such a big lead here in the lane just by this positioning here and this expanding trading wins. I haven't used my W much, I haven't used my R at all. And I get into this position where I keep the control of the lane while not losing any resources myself and still punishing her just with my movement, acting as if I'm gonna trade. So in this video we talked about how we can use our movement to psychologically manipulate the enemy laner and create favorable lane states for us. And I can guarantee that if you apply only a few of these concepts, you're gonna destroy the enemy laner without them even knowing it. If you want to become even better at laning and learn many more lane tricks, check out the link in the description. And otherwise, I'll see you guys next week again with a new video. Peace out.